the goal in life is not to be happy all the time, right? That's the number one problem, because people feel like, oh, I have to be happy all the time, happy, happy, happy. But when you're not, you start feeling like, what's wrong with me? Which is, it's crazy,
What's
right?
going on, everybody?
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Andy, and welcome to that one interesting podcast.
Perfect. They do got trust issues.
Why you say that?
I'm not working on nothing. I ain't your daddy.
What is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing?
She gotta be at least thick. That's an awesome name. High five.
High five for what?
High five.
What's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome y'all to the 34th episode of that one interesting podcast, and I'm your host, Andy. And today's topic that we're going to be discussing is being happy with yourself. And I have a very special guest with me, Dr. Rennes. I'm going to give her the time right now to introduce herself so she can tell you more about herself.
Awesome. First of all, thank you, Andy, for inviting me to be on your platform. My name is Dr. Rennes Toussaint. I am actually a doctor of chiropractic and a life coach, and my focus is mental wellness. So you might be saying, what is a chiropractor talking about? Mental wellness. It's basically, I really feel like God placed it on my heart to do this, because I had my own struggles with anxiety and depression, and the way He pulled me out of it. And I believe that my purpose right now is to just help educate people and just spread the awareness about mental wellness, mental health. Because a lot of times people think that, oh, well, I don't have an illness, so I'm fine. I don't need mental health work. But that's incorrect. We all have a mental health, and it's our responsibility to take care of it, just like our physical body, right? We've been taught when we're younger, you need to sleep, exercise, eat the right diets and things like that to take care of your physical health. But what about your mental health? So that is my mission.
Yeah, before we start this episode, in case if someone listening to this, and they're suffering from, anxiety, depression, like, can you give some word of encouragement, like, since you've been in the field?
Yes. So first of all, that does not define you. That is not who you are. And then sometimes people are just scared to even come out and say, I feel like something is wrong, right? So first of all, don't be afraid, right? Don't be afraid to say something does not feel right. But just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. This is not going to be your life forever. I don't believe anxiety and depression, you're just going to be like this 24/7 for the rest of your life. You're going to go through things. You're going to go through certain episodes. But unless you address the problem, then you're not going to know how to get out of it. But just know that you're not alone, and there's definitely hope for you.
Yep. Just keep a positive mindset.
Yes, absolutely.
But my first question is, everybody know what happiness. Can you define like true happiness?
I mean, we could talk about happiness in so many different ways, right? But to me, honestly, happiness is just one thing, and everything falls underneath, right? True happiness is knowing who you are, knowing truly who you are. There's so many people out here. They may appear to be successful. They may appear to have all those things. They may appear to be happy, i.e. on social media, but are they truly happy? Maybe not so much, right? But knowing who you are is your power. That means you're going to have an unshakable confidence in yourself. You're going to believe in yourself. You're going to believe in your abilities. So that to me is true happiness. And I just mentioned success. A lot of people talk about happiness as being successful, right? But what is success? Like, we all know success is very subjective, right? A lot of us, we our definition of success, somebody else defined it for us, right? Whether it be society, our friends, or our parents, like, hey, do this, and this is what you have to do. But the key to being truly happy, you define your own success. Don't live it up to anybody else. So
Exactly.
knowing who you are.
Exactly. All right. Based on your experience, like, what would you say cause many people not being happy with themselves? Based on the people that you helped, that you had helped with some, problems, like, what would you say caused them? What's the
Not to
main
be.
number one cause and when someone's not happy with themselves?
So this was a hard, big concept for me to grasp in the beginning. But for one, happiness, the goal in life is not to be happy all the time, right? That's the number one problem, because people feel like, oh, I have to be happy all the time, happy, happy, happy. But when you're not, you start feeling like, what's wrong with me? Which is, it's crazy, right? We're not supposed to be, it's humanly impossible to be happy all the time, right? But this is what we strive for. I just got to be happy. For example, if someone dies or if you hurt yourself, you're not going to be happy. You were
What would,
supposed.
what would happen if someone like were able to be happy all the time?
It's humanly impossible. It's impossible.
Because sometimes we in our lifetime
And if they pretend, if they say they're happy, I'm sorry to cut you up. If they say they're happy, they're not true. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie.
Because I feel like everybody might know somebody out there they always happy. They always in a positive mood every time you see them. Like,
okay, I'll use myself for example, right?
Yeah,
my friends always look at me like, oh, I'm so optimistic. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. I'm always there for everybody. I'm always that friend, right?
Yeah.
But majority of my life, I was suffering in silence and nobody knew. I had a roommate in college and she had no idea. When I finally came out and told my story, she's like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
So don't assume because everybody pretends to be happy and everything, well, I won't say pretend, have the appearance of being happy. Don't assume that everybody are, right? That's why it's so important, that phrase or that saying, like, be kind to people, because you don't know what battles people are, internal battles that they're having. Everybody's having some type of battle. Because life is, unfortunately, we want life to be kumbaya and everything is fine. But reality is life is not 100% perfect. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad.
So is it true? Because I heard that saying, they say, but people that be usually joking a lot and making a lot of, everybody laugh usually have the most, like, that's the way of hiding things. So
well, it
people
could be for
know
some people
what they're struggling with.
Right. We can generalize that everybody who's like, a comedian or who are jokester in school or whatever. But of course, there's definitely some truth. We call that masking. A lot of people mask their pain in different ways. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, I thought I caught up. Sorry. Some people absolutely mask their pain. So laughing and comedy, things like that could be one way of doing so. But to go back to the rest of your question, because I don't want to lose where I'm at. So number one, the goal in life is not always to be happy. So if you're not happy sometimes, if you feel sad, angry, mad, embarrassed, shamed, that is okay. But the goal is not to always stay in that position, right? All the time, that feeling all the time. All right. Another reason people are not happy within themselves, people are looking for an escape, right? Escape from their own problems. Maybe they've been to something traumatic and they don't want to deal with those feelings and emotions, because it's hard, like dealing with things that you've been through, like especially traumatic events, is very hard. So maybe they don't want to deal with it. So they look for other things. We call those false pleasures, right? They look for other things outside themselves to fill in that void, right? That's how people overdrink, because they don't want to deal with whatever stress or internal battle they go. So they're going to drink to drown their sorrows, suppress their feelings, or they overeat, or they over Facebook or they over Instagram. All those things are false pleasures because they don't want to deal with their own internal I don't like to say issues, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It is like issues, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So from that, we have a lot of people seeking validation. Like I said earlier, somebody may look like they're successful. They have the big career and they
Yeah,
have the house and the
yeah,
money and everything. Though that could be just seeking validation. That doesn't mean that they're truly happy with themselves. Seeking
exactly.
statuses. Oh, this one. Having a husband or a wife or having that quote unquote family, that beautiful family and the kids and the house and all those things. Those are ways of seeking validation from the outside world,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, it
And
is.
another thing that falls under that is people pleasing. Oh my God, I'm a recovering people pleaser. If you follow my Instagram, I had a video on that. I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm like yes to everything, everybody, so that they could like me. I didn't like me, but I want people to like me, right?
Mhm, mhm.
We all know happiness is an inside job. So people pleasing is like you lying to yourself just to please other people, right? So you end up losing yourself even more in the process.
Exactly, exactly. So how
And
would you what some advice can you give somebody, how to, that's suffering from not being happy with themselves mentally? Like how can they pull
um,
themselves out of that situation, that dark
I,
spot?
well, you want to acknowledge, first of all, there's what is the issue? Get into the root of the problem because we can't fix anything until we identify it, right? And
Mhm.
also, it goes back to knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you know what you want. What's the results that you want to see? For example, if you're unhappy in your relationship, what you want your relationship to look like? If you're unhappy with your career, your job, or your business, what do you want it to look like? You have to know that because we can't just be shooting blanks in the air like, okay, I hope something sticks. No, you have to be very specific what you want out of life. So you first acknowledge the problem, know what you want. In between, I'm gonna give you. I hope I don't lose you
Yeah.
in this one. In between,
No, go ahead.
this is what we're gonna focus on, right? Our
Yeah.
thoughts and our feelings. That's the mind. Our thoughts. I'm sorry. Our thoughts and beliefs, not feelings. Sorry. That's the
Hmm.
mind. Creates our feelings. Our feelings creates our actions, and our actions creates our results. Right?
Hmm.
The thoughts. What's the problem? Do you feel like, oh, I don't deserve love? I'm not smart enough, so I don't deserve to have this, 6-figure paying job. What is your beliefs about your life right now? But what do you want? Because if you say you want a 6-figure job and you feel like, oh, well, I don't deserve it, then you're not going to get it. Your
Hmm.
thoughts and
Hmm.
your beliefs about your beliefs about yourself has to match up with the results that you want, right?
Hmm.
So it always starts with the mind, your mindset, right? So to get that 6-figure job, you're gonna build up your confidence. You know who you are. You believe in yourself. You have the confidence. You believe in your ability. Then you work through. Okay, well, how does that make me feel? Like I just said, you're confident. What are your actions? Okay, I'm confident. I'm going to just go apply for this job. Maybe that's all it takes. Have the confidence to apply for the
Hmm.
job, even though you don't qualify, quote unquote, on paper. Or I'm going to go to school and get that degree, knock it out in 2 years, and then I'll get that job. So you get what I'm saying? So in order to pull yourself out of a dark place, figure out what the problem is and know what you want at the end of it. And then you change your belief systems because at the end of the day, your same belief systems, your same thoughts is not going to give you new results. I can't tell you how many times I see people, oh, well, I want this. I want to be wealthy. But what is your thoughts about money? What do you feel about money? Do you hate money?
Exactly.
Because some people really, some people just like, some people really believe I don't deserve it. So guess what? When they get it, they spend it. They don't know how to save. They don't know how to invest because
Yeah.
they feel like they don't deserve it.
Exactly.
So your thoughts and your beliefs starts with the mind.
So what would you tell someone that that dwells a lot on their lack of achievement and compare themselves with other people that that's doing better, and that put them in the dark spot. Like, how would somebody go about fixing that?
So again, what do you want? Right? Who you are and what do you want? Right? You have to focus.
Mhm.
I believe every person on this earth has a purpose, and everybody's purpose is different. You want to focus on what you want to focus on your own, your purpose, right? So
Mhm.
what is it that you want to accomplish? Because you're not going to get it looking at somebody else's, right? What can you do for yourself at this moment, every single day, to get to that accomplishment that you want? Start with your mind, start with your belief system. And we all know comparison is the thief of our joy.
Yes, yeah.
Like, so
Especially,
mhm.
I was saying, especially with the social media world that we have
Yeah,
going on right now, people usually compare themselves, but a lot of people don't know that people post their good side on social media. So
right.
don't dwell on that stuff.
And it goes back to what I was saying. Social media, what does it seem like? Everybody's happy, right? Everybody
Yes,
posts
yeah.
their highlights. Everybody's life is perfect. So you feel like, oh, well, what's wrong with my life? Why can't I have the life? Why can't I be perfect? Why can't I? Well, we don't say it out that loud, because when we say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. But that's how we feel. And I have to admit, I'm not perfect. I still go through my struggles, especially on social media. Like, man, why can't I be over there too? Why can't I be? I just went on a trip, but I'm still worried about somebody else doing all these things this week. I was like, well, wait, you just went. Why are you? Right. So I'm not perfect. And it takes
Do
a
you
lot
block?
of work
How do,
to change that mindset.
how do you deal with that? Do you block the people that you be seeing on social media? Be like, why can't
Well,
you do that?
what I usually do I call it social media fasting, and it's
Mhm.
very effective. If I
Exactly.
feel myself, because you can really feel like your soul, like
Yeah.
it's drifting away. I just have to pump the brakes. Like, I know deep down when I need a break, because
Yeah. That's,
you start snooping around, seeing who's with who and what they're doing, and you're just going deeper and deeper. And then I know, okay, pump your brakes, take a break. It could be one day. Sometimes I think the longest I've done it maybe was 21 days.
I did it for a
And
month.
a month, see,
That's
you
crazy.
better than me.
I was doing it
Show
just
me the
to,
way.
I was doing it just to be productive because social media can sometimes
Right.
take most of our time. So
It's amazing how
yeah,
productive you are when you take away social media. It's
exactly. Yeah,
like, man. So yeah, definitely take breaks. If there's someone that you don't like, don't follow people that you don't like, please.
I just saw
I
a quote. I just saw somebody tweeted about that. Why are you following people that you hate? That's so weird.
That doesn't make any sense. What sense does that make? You just driving yourself crazy.
Yeah,
Like, what are you trying? What are you getting from it?
exactly.
I really don't know. And let's not talk about trolls. They just, you
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah.
That's a whole separate issue.
Exactly.
Hurt people, people who are not happy. If you're really truly happy with your life, you're not going to be focusing on somebody else's life.
Exactly.
So don't tell your community, don't argue on the internet. Don't be in the shade room comments going back and forth with
Yes,
people.
yes.
Just know that people who say hurtful things are hurt themselves. End of
Hmm.
story.
Exactly. A lot of time, people, like you say earlier, they usually hide their feelings and their problems.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to identify those people and how, like, their problem, like, without them telling you about it? Because a lot of people be hiding that thing. You know what I'm saying? Is there a way? I wish there was a way, but I don't know. I'm just asking you if is there a way for that?
Well, I would say the trolling for one. That will People who are constantly like negative and say mean things and all the time, there has to be something within them. There has to be something wrong. But
Mhm.
you can't go up to somebody and say like, "Oh, I think something's wrong with you." I mean, it's not fair, right? It's not your job. If they want to fix it, they have to come out and say that something is wrong. I'm a firm believer that you treat people how you treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if the way you treat other people, whether you want to see it or not, if it could be something subtle. If you judge people all the time, guess what? You're judging yourself. I guarantee you that. Right? If you criticize and gossip on other people, you're doing the same thing. If you're not doing it to yourself, you're fearful that other people is doing it to you. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So that is one way to tell like something's not right. But I don't go out and be like, hey, you got a problem. You got a no. You have to come up, you have to come and tell me yourself. I'm not assuming. I'm not a mind reader and I'm not God. So
Yes, yes. So like a lot of time we usually have friends that deal with, they struggle with mental illness and depression,
mhm,
anxiety and insecurity. Like what
right,
are some steps that a friend could take to help them out? Like what ways? Because a lot of people don't know what to say or do
right,
when it comes to those type of situations. And what
right.
way can they go about helping that friend out?
Like you said, a lot of people do not know what to say, and it's okay. Just listen. Because I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you feel a little down and you just wanted to talk to somebody, right?
Exactly.
And then when you talk to them, you might feel, a little better. The problem is not fixed, but you feel better by talking. So as that friend or a loved one, you just want to listen to them, but also without judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you could just listen, like, I hear you, I understand. And also understand that whatever they're going through is unique to them. Don't start comparing their issues with somebody else. Oh, I had this lady at work and she was going through the same thing, this, and that. You try not to, compare their
Mm-hmm.
situation and just be a safe space. You want to be that friend of that loved one where, you know, that might not be the first episode that they're having. So you want to create that safe space that they will always want to come back and talk to you. And just encourage them. Encourage them if you feel like it's a deeper issue. Even if you don't not sure exactly what it is, just encourage them to talk to somebody, talk to a
Mm-hmm.
professional. It might be just looking up a number like, hey, I heard about this person, and I'm gonna take it as deep as suicide because I recently had an episode with that when somebody reached out to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I may not have done the right thing. Well, I believe I did the right thing, but I learned from that experience that you just, even if they don't want to talk to somebody, just hand them over, just give them the suicide hotline number. Like, hey, if you need it, here's the number. Don't push it. Um, Give them that freedom to make that decision. And yeah, you
Yeah,
always want to go ahead.
yeah, that's I was gonna ask too. Some people like sometimes they hold their stuff and they don't want to open up.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
hard. Like what in what way can you go about, making them comfortable enough for them to open up to you and tell you what they're going through?
It might sound very simple and very cliche. You want to really ask them, how do you feel? Because I guarantee if
Mm-hmm.
you ask people how you feel, some people don't really know how to answer that, right? Because
Yeah.
there's something I like to call I'm fine syndrome. I still do it and I have to break myself out of it. Anybody call you, hey, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. But it's like, how are you feeling? Sometimes you have to dig a little deep. Like, no, that's not how you're feeling. That's just a surface answer. How are you feeling? Can I help you in any way?
Exactly.
Can I support you in any way? That's totally different. Like, hey girl, what's up?
Yeah.
Two totally different address. It's totally different, right? So
Exactly.
you want to focus on how they're feeling and not just like, hey, how are you? And
Exactly.
maybe that will soften them up to really tell you like, well, I've been feeling this, I've been feeling down, and so on and so forth.
All right, that's perfect. So like,
Hmm.
in our community, we don't really talk about mental wellness.
No.
How important is mental wellness, and how can someone be mentally fit?
I would definitely say mental wellness is so important. It's like a matter of life or death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Because of stress, right?
Exactly.
And too often we in our community, we carry stress like a badge of honor. Yeah, I'm stressed, girl. Oh, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. That's not cool. That is not okay, right? The thing is our body. Okay, so I said life or death because when we are stressed, our body has this defense mechanism to protect us from danger called fight or flight, right? So, for example, if you're being chased by a lion or a dog, or you're crossing the street and a car is coming very fast, what are you going to do?
Start running.
I hope so. I hope you're going to start running. It's like your instinct. Your body
Yeah.
always wants to be out of danger. Your body wants to seek pleasure, and your mind wants to seek pleasure, never pain.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to run as fast as you can, right? So your heart is going to pump faster to pump blood into your muscles, because that's all you need to run away. You do not need to be thinking about food, so no blood is going to your stomach to think about food while you're getting out of danger, right? So this is what the body does when you get out of danger. So that's usually a split second. Well, now I won't say split second, but if you're running across the street, that's going to take a couple of seconds, right?
Yeah.
Our body responds to stress the exact same way. So imagine your body is going through that fight or flight response on a continuous basis, because we carry the stress from work, from home, from relationships all the time. Right?
Yeah.
Our mind does not know how to differentiate what is real danger, like a car is about to hit you, versus you thinking about, dang, what am I going to get in the next paycheck? When am I going to get a job? The mind does not know how to differentiate, so your body responds the same way. Do you feel it at the time? You may not feel it, but there's ways it show up. You show up with tense muscles, especially around your shoulders, your neck, your back. I can't tell you, as a chiropractor, people come with me all the time. Oh, I'm in so much pain, my neck, my back, da-da-da. Ask them if they're in stress. Oh, no, I'm good. How's your emotional state? I'm good. But it didn't take me long. I've only been practicing for about 6 years. It didn't take me long to realize that a lot of even our physical pain is from emotional stress.
Wow.
A lot of it is a huge component.
How does
So
that
if you're
work? I was asking, how does that work? How does that go about? Like emotion?
just like what I said, like your body, your muscles, your heart is pumping. That's why people get stressed, gives people heart attack.
Okay.
Because your heart is pumping all the time. Because remember, you're running away from a car is the same way of you stressing.
Okay.
That's how your body responds. So if your body is in this cycle continuously, you're gonna start to feel fatigue. Your body's gonna literally start breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, that's how heart attacks happen, from stress.
So how can someone stay mentally fit?
It's huge, because every day, the average person has 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day, right? That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you just let your mind just wander all over the place, that's a lot. You really need to start paying attention to your thoughts on a daily basis. Because the beautiful thing about the human brain is the only brain that could actually think about what you're thinking about. Right now, can you think about what you're thinking about? You can. So that means you could change it. And it's not an easy concept if you some people are just stuck in your ways, basically. But we could literally change our mindset, our mind, just by paying attention to our thoughts, right? That's key. That's how you literally change your mind. Change your mind. Train your mind to what the life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
right? And also being mentally fit is you're gonna experience different things in life, you know. Things look at what's happening right now. A whole pandemic,
Yeah, yeah. Crazy.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
So if you're not mentally fit to know, like, okay, I need to cope, I need to adapt to this situation, how am I going to do it? That's why right now the mental health for a lot of people is in shambles. We're going to enter another whole what you call, I don't know, pandemic, epidemic, I don't know the right word, with mental health because of this COVID-19, this pandemic that we're going through, because a lot of people do not know how to cope and adapt to different environments and different situations.
Yeah, speaking on that, mental health. There was a news that came out. A girl from
Mm-hmm.
California
Mm-hmm.
actually commit suicide because she was, because of the lockdown, because she stayed in the house way too much,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
I think that plays a big part on mental health.
Of course. Of course. Physical movement is so important for our mental health. It's very, very important. It stimulates your brain, it stimulates your mind for sure. So just being in a close, it depends on the person. Some people are like home and they're flourishing, they're working from home and they're happy. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you're gonna get bored after a while, and we need sunlight, we need vitamin D and
Hmm.
stuff. But if you're not that type of person and you don't adapt correctly, it's like your whole life. And unfortunately, maybe that's how she felt, like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
can't do it anymore. She probably felt so stuck,
yeah.
not
So
only in the
sad.
house, but stuck in her mind. So, yep.
So how can someone go about? You say you was talking about adapt. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is there a way to adapt quicker, or like how
Quicker,
can someone
it's, I don't know about quicker, it's just a
not
matter
quicker,
of
but
doing it.
yeah. What's the best possible way can someone go about adapting to a new environment or situation?
Just finding different opportunities. For example, COVID happened. Okay, we can't go out. I can't go to the gym. Okay, what's the next thing to do? Let me just turn on YouTube or do something in the house. Or I mean, some people were still able to go out. Well, Florida, you guys don't care, so you're in Florida, right? You're in
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Y'all
We in
just running
Florida.
wild. But there's always where there's a will, there's a way. I have faith, so there's always a way to do things. A million ways, like I said, there's a million ways to skin a cat. There's a million
Hmm.
ways to do something.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you, and you may have to try different things. Some people are just not even open to trying different things, right? And
Hmm.
that alone holds you back from adapting to a new situation, a new environment. Just trying different things, just doing it. Because you're not going to know if it's going to work for you if you don't do it.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So how can someone go? I was watching, that Will and Jada
Oh boy.
scandal stuff, and one thing about that, one thing I noticed, that got me the ideas to this episode was when she mentioned that, I figured out that happiness, doesn't come from the outside; it got to come from within.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the process of that? Like, how can you build happiness within?
Within yourself, it's like I said earlier, it always goes back to knowing who you are,
Hmm.
being confident in yourself, being present, right? If you always if your mind is in the past, if you focus on the past, that's going to create a lot of regret. If you worry about the future or what's next, that's going to create anxiety. And to me, happiness is not something you find. When you say I find happiness, guess what? I need to find happiness, quote unquote. You're
Yeah.
going to go around looking for it outside yourself, right? You're going to look
Mhm.
for her. It was an entanglement. For first it was her husband, and then it was that, she didn't feel happy with that it was an entanglement. So some people are perfect examples. Some people are chasing money and they're hustling. That's what happiness is for them. So if you're gonna go, if you're looking for happiness outside of yourself, you're always gonna be looking for it. But I believe there's nothing to find about happiness. It's already available for us. We just have to access it. It's available right here, right now. And one of the ways to recognize there is happiness available to you right now is gratitude.
Okay, okay.
Right? Gratitude is such a huge thing. I actually read a book a couple years ago. It was called, I think, instead of Think and Grow Rich, it was called
Mhm.
Thanks and Grow Rich. So gratitude not only is thanking the higher power. I'm a Christian, so I believe in God.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanking God for everything that He's done, but you open yourself to receive more. And the way, and some, like, when people think of gratitude, say, oh, thank you, God, for waking me up. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my health. And amen, right?
Hmm.
So if you really want to see, and gratitude for me is a muscle we have to practice on a daily basis, deeper than just, waking up and health, right?
All right, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to see how your gratitude muscle is, that in that book, the challenge was for 30 days. You could get a gratitude book, or you could do it with a friend or a group of friends or whatever. And every day you say, I think we did 3 or 5 things. Let's say 5 things that you're grateful for every day for 30 days. The key is to never repeat something.
Wow, yeah.
Man, let me tell you, that was so hard. There was days I mean, you have to do it when you first get up. There was days I was just like, my friend and my best friend, I was just like, dang, we didn't want to be thankful for nothing. And it
That's
sounds
good.
crazy, but that's how we felt. It was hard. It's just like, dang, what else can I be? But when you really sit there and you think about it, like the simplest thing,
Yes, yes.
it's just like, wow. Because we have to really dig deep to find certain things, right? Well, if you're not used to doing it, if your muscle is weak, then you got to work a lot harder, to
Yeah.
build that muscle. So gratitude is the most important way to find happiness,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's very, very important to find happiness. And also, one thing in life, I believe we should always give. And I'm not talking about tithing on Sundays. I'm not talking about giving people money or giving people material things, but give. Give your time. Talk to someone. Like what you're doing with your podcast.
Yeah.
You're giving value to people,
Mm-hmm.
right? It feels good, right? You're
It
on
does,
your
yeah.
podcast, you're giving information. It feels good to give, and that's also true happiness. Give also without expecting something in return.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a key to quote unquote fun.
So how you talk about a book? How can someone go about looking? Get that book? Is it still available? Like, where can we go to get that book?
Oh, it's not my book, by the way. I said
Oh,
I
okay.
read the book.
Oh, you
No,
read it? I
I
thought that was
wish.
your book.
I
Okay.
read it. I wish. One day soon.
So it.
It's like find it on Amazon. It's called, I can't remember the author. It was called Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
basically just being thankful. Another thing, I'm just gonna throw it in there. I just truly believe the rich part is cool and believing to be rich, but there's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
work that goes into it. So faith without works is dead. So whatever type of healing that we need to do, it takes work. Oh,
Exactly.
one thing I didn't mention, sorry, I'm going back again.
No, you
With
fine.
when you're helping a friend and a loved one go through something, a dark time, you don't always just want to focus on, you just don't want to just say, oh, just pray about it, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're used to in our community, the black community. Pray about it. No, I do believe should pray, but you also have to do the work. So I
Exactly.
believe we can have Jesus and we can have a therapist.
Exactly. Exactly. So you get that exercise in the book. correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think other people, this is not the only place I've seen it, but yeah, the gratitude, you can write it down, get a gratitude journal
Yeah,
and every
I'm
day.
gonna do that challenge.
Yeah. And let me know how it
Yeah, I'll
let me know
definitely let
how
you.
it goes.
I'll definitely let you know. So, like, is there anything else that you like to tell us? I like to thank you for coming on the podcast, giving me your
No.
time. Like, is there anything else that you like to share with us? Like, you want people to do?
Yeah, so as a life coach, like I said, I focus on mental wellness. Sorry, fellas, but I do work with women. I work with women who are suffering in silence to find their voice, find their identity, and take back their power. Taking back their power is truly knowing who they are. And that's just a key to living a fulfilling life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
achieving all the dreams the dreams and the goals that you want. And I definitely want to say, if your happiness also, the level of happiness that you want has to, how I'm going to say it, if you're struggling of feeling true happiness, right? Being happy with yourself, get to the healing. There's probably some healing that you have to do and have to get through to your happiness. Okay. So don't ignore that part, right? We all want the nice things and we all want to be happy, but it starts with getting rid of the old thoughts and emotions that we had to deal with through trauma that we have experienced in the past.
All right. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you'd like to say to someone that think like getting materialistic thing is true happiness? Like, what would you tell that person?
You're going to be searching forever and you're not going to be happy. You're going to be searching forever, right? You want a job that makes more money to make you happy. Guess what? You're going to get that job and spend more money, and then you're still going to be struggling, right? For example, yeah, start within, and it's a beautiful journey. Give yourself grace and be patient with yourself, right? If you're not in a good place, please, please, please give yourself grace and understand that it's not a destination. It's not a place that you're trying to get to. You're just trying to enjoy the journey of life, go through life.
All right, all right. So
Okay.
what I've learned through this episode is that if you want to be happy, the journey's got to be
Mm-hmm.
you gotta have your attitude, and you
Yes.
gotta know what you want, who you are,
Who are? Mm-hmm.
yeah, where you wanna be, and
Yep.
be positive and stuff like that.
Yes. Mindset. Change your thoughts.
Change the mindset.
The thoughts and your beliefs.
Exactly. So
Yep.
to finish this episode, I like to thank everybody that has been listening live, and I'd like to thank you, Dr. Rennes, for taking your time to come in and chat with us and give us some good, advice on how to stay positive and be happy with yourself.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
yes, and my last word is thank you for everyone that has been listening, and we out.
We out. Thank you guys.